Hello everyone, this is Caillou, and I'm joined on the mic with Pipsqueak today, and we're going to be watching the round one match between InfinityChef and Chumbeque. Both these players are on Dredge, which is a reasoned linear deck which is cropped up, but both of them are in slightly different variations of it. Um, Chumbeque is on a version which uses a bunch of self-mill spells, and then aims to kind of generate card advantage that way, while InfinityChef is on the blazingly fast Zing variant, which we see here. Essentially, you bin Zing with a Torment land, then discard like three cards to bring her back to your hand, and essentially just generate a bunch of card advantage that way. This isn't the craziest turn one Zing, I think, to be fair. Does get a mana off the Gilded Gulch, but Sewer Pack and Creeping Crypts, you definitely want those to get in from your library more often than not.
That's true, but once they're in your hand, you would really rather they not be.
Oh yeah,
So they're
100%.
still good bin targets. That Rune Scribe Apprentice kind of salvaged that. I was like, okay, well this is kind of bad. At least he has Death Ray Cultist to follow up. But milling into both a Devoured Evangel and a Ceaseless Stalker, as
Also,
well
the
as a
Malice
Malice
Crafter
Crafter.
just pokes
Yeah,
a Chumbeck for two. So yeah,
yeah.
now has 6 power on board turn one. Okay,
We're gonna
Chumbeck's
see
gonna.
a response in kind from Chumbeck though. Milling over or
But
discarding the recurring abominations, nice, but really bad mills here. So that's a little awkward, especially because Chumbeck next turn best plays like play a sewer pack. Chumbeck with that opening hand was really relying on hitting big with the rune scribe.
and yeah, it doesn't like. I think this is usually your purview, but I think I'm calling this game.
Oh,
It appears that Infinity Chef accidentally, instead of drawing, put this Spires of Cult from the top of their library onto the stack, which, yeah, that's just a quick fix.
um, yeah. So for Chef here, want to press the advantage. Like just start cracking with all three of these. Don't give Chumbeck enough time to kind of draw out of this situation,
Hmm.
especially because this turn you can slam Death Ray Cultist and just get ready to untap and make a 5/5.
Hmm.
So for context, for people that
Also, like,
haven't, oh yeah, sorry.
sorry, I was just gonna say, Chef could have milled with Creeping Crypts. I think forgot that it does have text other than when it's put into your graveyard from your library. So I'm not
Well,
sure
it
if there's
has
any.
text when it's in play.
Oh, it has text when it's in play. I'm dumb. Never mind. For some reason, I thought that it was also active
you
from the
you
grave.
you mentally made it bridge from below, which that would not be an okay card,
Hmm.
which is understandable. Okay, so I assume we're just going to see Chumbeck hardcast. Interesting. Discards the Ceaseless Stalker. Oh, because Ken Recurring Abomination.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't he just activate Recurring Abomination now, however?
Yeah,
That
because
way, at least
because
the
the Cecil
Ceaseless Stalker
Stalker
can block.
doesn't come back until next end step.
One thing that's really important to remember, and we'll see if either player remembers this actually, is Ceaseless Stalker notably doesn't care about your graveyard. It cares about a graveyard. So,
Oh,
if a Ceaseless Stalker is dead and someone recurs a thing from their yard, the both Ceaseless Stalkers will pop back, so
oh,
that'll
okay.
make
That's
this very
just an
interesting.
interaction.
Um,
Okay, Chef not hitting much, but I think you can probably just swing in with everything. DRC the Evangel.
yeah, I think that's kind of the plan. And we'll go for it. I
Hmm.
think we'll see Chumbeck probably block with the Rune Scribe on the Ceaseless Stalker and then sack it to Recurring Abomination.
Hmm.
Um, in response to that activation, Infinity Chef should sacrifice the Ceaseless Stalker to Dark Ray Cultist. Isn't going to though,
Hmm.
because as I said, then you get your Ceaseless Stalker back for free. Um, but honestly, doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, now
Um,
you can play Spires, discard Zing or Spire, doesn't matter. You're gonna discard your card to DRC anyways,
yep.
and then you can recast a part of Evangel.
So the thing I was gonna say earlier, this game is definitely wild. I think Infinity Chef has a sizable lead. So in this GP, we have three different builds of Dredge, which have a lot in common, but do have some very notable differences. Infinity Chef is the build that we have two copies of. Both Emily and InfinityChef are on it. It's this 11 land build, which is a lot more explosive and cheesy, I would describe it as. Um, Whereas Chumbeque is on a kind of big mill plan. So Chumbeque is going to target himself with a mill spell like Fleeting Thoughts or like Only Memories Remain, and by milling a bunch is going to effectively draw and cast Sewer Pack. Whereas the other builds don't use Sewer Pack as effectively. And then the final build is the one that Plipster's on, which is a mono black build which has way more grind potential while still having a similar amount of just kind of crazy burst openings.
Hmm. Yeah, I think like the deck is like for such a linear deck is remarkably flexible in terms of what you can do, um, like depending on your opener. Like I think the Zing build is kind of all in, but like in other builds, like Umberdew Goliath provides a sizable incentive to just dump your hand, even if you don't have like recursion engines. And Recurring Abomination plus Thesis Locker plus Unbound Remora means that you can quickly like run opponents out of cards and then still retain card advantage because you want your stuff in the graveyard anyways.
Right, you're playing out of the graveyard. Um, I think Chumbeck is trying to evaluate whether it's better to go with a. I assume it's evaluating whether to open with Fleeting Thoughts or not. Um, I think you always do it in the same way that you always should cast a draw spell first. You should know what you're working. Oh, but is instead casting Sewer Pack and is not going to be casting Fleeting Thoughts. Interesting. So maybe Chumbeck wants to try and inscribe the Fleeting Thoughts on something, so it has flying, which is kind of good versus the demon, but not essential.
Yeah, and like I was gonna say that like maybe like Recurring Abomination inscribe and then try to recur something, but like Chumbeck is dead next turn. There's basically there's like
Yeah,
no good lines here. Okay, Unbound Remora. Does that change?
that doesn't change anything, unfortunately.
Okay,
I think.
it doesn't have no. Let's say do you Hazy Coppice sacrifice? No, because you need to discard Remora anyways. If Chumbeck could somehow play two lands this turn, then things would be very different.
Mhm.
Because then could use one of the Torment lands to sack Recurring Abomination, sack something, bring back Dremora. Don't know that it would matter too much in the end, but at least it would give
I
some
feel
more
like
board presence.
in that circumstance, you should mill first, just to see what you hit.
Mm-hmm.
There are things you can hit
They
that change
that
games.
game was just over turn one.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, is right, pre-board, neither of these decks has much in the way of interaction. So they're just kind of linearing at each other, and Infinity's deck is better at linearing, at least
Mm-hmm.
better at doing so very quickly.
Yeah. Speaking of
Post-board, we'll probably see some changes,
yeah,
since Chumbeck gets access to a lot of sideboard.
yeah, I
Uh,
think Shikai's readout is probably the easy one. Like you
yeah,
just swap out some lands and all you lose are like, I think you can swap out like a few of the torment lands and be fine with it because you still
mhm.
have fetches, and then
I think I'd want to replace the Oracle's Visions with Stay Determines,
I
because I don't think you want Oracle's Vision in the Dredge matchup.
yeah, okay,
And
fair,
Stay
fair.
Determine can be insane when your opponent, swings out, you cast this, and you effectively draw 8 to 10 cards against them, and potentially, like, dump a bunch of power into play.
Yeah, that's very true. Um,
Whereas Infinity Chef, I think we'll probably see, can also bring in Stay Determines or Seal the Tombs. I mean, I think it's a little bit weird that both these players feel like they've kind of overboarded. Like, they have a lot of cards for this specific matchup, to an extent that I don't know what they're going to cut here.
I think it's because like just because of all of the talk of Dredge before like the tournament started, I think people are hyper aware of it in a way that maybe these decks just don't need to be or don't have the luxury of being, like especially Infinity Chef's deck because of how linear it is.
Right. You can't board in more than like 4 cards in this matchup,
Mm-hmm.
just because you don't have the slots. Um,
Yeah, and like you don't really like if you're needing interaction, something has gone desperately wrong.
on the draw, I think there's an argument for Infinity Chef to potentially like. Okay, I think this is a matchup where Nightmare Riders isn't good because you don't need that kind of incremental mill value.
Mm-hmm.
So in Infinity Chef's spot, I would probably board out the Nightmare Riders board and stage determined for the
Mm-hmm.
same reason I elaborated for the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how they actually board. Looks like Chumbeck chose to keep in the Oracle's Vision. Um, Oh geez, this opening hand is actually the nuts for InfinityChef.
Oh
Can
lord.
go turn 1, discard Zing, discard a Gilded Gulch and 2 Putrid Lurkers, get the treasure token, and then put in 2 Putrid Lurkers turn 1.
So yeah, swinging for 6 turn 1. Meanwhile, Chumbeque, if Chumbeque plays an Oracle's Vision turn 1, is just fueling this even more. Potentially. No, okay, he's going to
Yeah,
Fleeting
he's going with
Thoughts.
Fleeting Thoughts, which is the wiser thing to start with. So we'll see, depending on how lucky he gets.
I think
This
the
could
good
be-
thing is the
also the Shikai's Redoubt in here.
yeah, the
is
Shikai's
great.
Redoubt means that that protects Chumbeque cleanly from the double Putrid Lurker, because in response to the trigger, you just exile him.
It does make me wonder if that means that you shouldn't go. If playing around the Shikai's Redoubt means you shouldn't go all in on the double Putrid Lurker start, because this hand does literal nothing once you've gotten rid of both your Putrid Lurkers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's the Stay Determined that we were talking about. But I think
Yes.
I think the thing is, like, what are you going to do if you don't go
Yeah.
all in? That's kind of just...
You always go all in. That's why you play the stick.
Let's go.
The good news is
And Chumbeque like, hold on now. I have free interaction.
This is a
This is an ouch for InfinityChef.
this is not a very MSEM like game.
Also,
Notably, he doesn't actually have to spend the mana, which is a good.
okay.
Okay.
So now has a
So
whole
now
lot of
you're
nothing.
I don't think you want to cast this Oracle's Vision.
Just cast only Memories Remain. You have the mana for it.
Yep, exactly.
And you can just you can ditch the Oracle's Vision. This is probably the best you could hope for.
Yeah, this is a very favorable situation for Chumbeque. I think the main thing that you're looking for right now is to try to get a bunch of power onto the board and take the advantage. The thing that's nice for InfinityChef is this Stay Determined is actually a really good insurance policy versus that.
No, okay.
Interesting.
Wait,
Is it an
is
instant?
only Memories?
It is an instant.
It is an instant.
Hopefully he remembers to do its second main phase rather than end step, because that way you actually can get back the Ceaseless Stalkers.
Mm-hmm. And another Zing for InfinityChef. Yeah.
That's not one of the ones you want to draw. Maybe you still discard one of them into your graveyard, just in case. But, I think right now InfinityChef is kind of just treading water, which is okay. It is okay to be treading water right now. Neither player has any pressure on the board.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if that changes. And like you said, Chumbeque waited until end, so is not going to get those Ceaseless.
Yep.
Getting a Hazy Coppice. Discarding. Oh no, I was just going to bolt. I feel like you don't
I
need
think
to
that's
bolt.
fair, actually.
But like I feel like you just don't need to bolt yourself at this
You
point.
don't need to. I don't think it super matters, though.
Okay, so it's gonna only Memories Remain. What you gonna hit? Okay, Stay Determined. Ceaseless Stalker. Yup. Sewer Pack. That's one of the good ones, but will not get back the Ceaseless Stalker because of the thing we just mentioned. Only Memories Remain. Fleeting Thoughts. Hazy Coppice.
So there were 2 hits here, and they were good hits, but there were only 2 hits.
Yeah, and one of the hits didn't matter, unfortunately.
Well, the other hit will matter next.
Ooh, can hard
Next
cast
step.
this Ceaseless Stalker.
Yep.
It's an awful clock, but it is a clock.
I mean, 4 power is a 5-turn clock, and then once the next one comes back, that's 7 power. That's like up. Why would you? Oh no, that's actually entirely legit. Discards the Ceaseless Stalker because the other one's coming back at end step, which means the other one will come back at the next end step afterward.
Mhm.
I don't
Wait,
like
so
that line.
wait. So how is the Ceaseless Stalker coming back this end step?
So, if you discard something, so since the Sewer Pack entered the battlefield on the last end step,
Mm-hmm.
Ceaseless Stalker will now return on this end step because it's the next end step.
Ah,
And
okay,
then the following Ceaseless Stalker will return the following end step.
okay. That's a little brain bending. Okay, so it's gonna Oracle's Vision. I think this is definitely one of those things where it's like, well, you play it because you have it, but I don't think that you actually do, though.
Yeah, I think you're better off just casting your Ceaseless Stalker. I think that's a better use of your mana. But I don't think Chumbeque is like throwing the game by casting the Oracles.
Mm-hmm.
Caillou in the future don't answer questions like that.
Oh, okay.
Players ask us.
Okay, Oracle's Vision time. Amberdew Goliath, Hazy Coppice. Amberdew Goliaths would have been really nice to draw there.
Okay, yeah, Chumbeque nailed this. Although now I think Chumbeque should regret having cast the mana or played land before casting the spell because now it doesn't have a discard outlet for that Putrid Lurker.
Mm-hmm. Still, is gonna So he's gonna generate a nice board here.
Yeah, unfortunately, the next turn when Chumbeque goes to swing for what is that, 6, 8, 9 damage at Infinity, Infinity just gets to stay determined through it, which is huge in this circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Here's one Cecil Stalker. Ah.
Oh my god, the third Ombridu Goliath? Are we real?
So you definitely play Gilded Gulch, and then cast Ombridu. Oh, please, for the love of God, remember. Okay, so that's a 1/1. I for a second thought it would just immediately die on the spot, and I was like, no.
No, why are you not...
Is looking... Okay, I think is looking to get Chumbeque with a Zing activation.
But then you want to keep Stay Determined.
Yes, you do. Alternatively, is lulling Chumbeque into a false sense of complacency.
I feel like we are past the part where the mental game matters, but I don't know if that's just me. Oh, Recurring Abomination is another great topic.
Another threat. Yeah, and Infinity shouldn't block any of this and should just stay determined.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, will we see that?
Why are you trading Ombridu for a Cecil?
You're not trading it. You're trying to eat it.
Or no? Okay,
yeah. I was gonna cast Stay Determined. Right?
Okay.
So I guess trying to take the zombie off the field is a pretty advantageous decision, but I think I would rather have the extra 2 cards milled.
Okay, so Ombridu up to Big Boy 5/5. Okay, and then mill 7. Oh god, well, there's a sewer pack. It looks like the Seal of the Tombs did come in. Won't be relevant. Departed Evangel is castable, that's good. And another sewer pack. Wow. Yeah, that was good. That was solid. That was...
Just imagine what would have happened if he milled an extra 2.
God, don't even.
And can actually immediately cast the Departed Evangel using the treasure.
Wait, so why are the sewer packs 3/3s? Are they not 2/2s?
Because there's a 1/1 on the other side of the field.
Lord.
Sewer pack counts all of the creatures on the battlefield named sewer pack.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Post-combat Recurring Abomination.
Okay, so yeah, this is just so
interesting to not crack the treasure to recur the Departed Evangel. Oh, no, it wasn't his turn. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Never mind. Disregard. Zing activation to discard Putrid Lurker. Recur Putrid Lurker. Yep. Pass the line.
Is it up to 3? No, just discard 3. So discard the hand. You get a treasure anyways, and the other thing doesn't matter. So, Putrid Lurker coming down. You get your fill of Departed Evangel. And then you crack in with Lurker Ombridu Goliath?
Yeah, easy cracking with those two. Looks like he's going all in, which I don't technically hate. Feeling kind of medium on that, but it's not the worst decision. And actually, Chumbeque is forced to block the Ombridu.
Because
otherwise dies.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucks because then you aren't actually trading off. That was destroyed from last turn's attack. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting and awkward spot to be in, because, on the other hand, InfinityChef won't have any blockers after this. So, it looks like both players are just going to kind of shove back and forth.
And InfinityChef definitely has the bigger shove right now.
Yeah, although Chumbeque does have the infinite recursion engine, a Ceaseless Stalker plus Recurring Abomination. So that can provide an infinite number of Chump blockers versus Ombridu, as well as starting to trade off versus the sewer packs and stuff. So, I don't hate Chumbeque's position. It's not great.
Let's see what he draws. Creeping Crypt.
I don't think past that.
You want to save the mana for recurring.
You do want to save the mana for Recurring Abomination, and also you don't want to lose life anymore. Like, drawing cards isn't as important as... Don't put yourself on a 6-turn clock! It looks like Chumbeque disagrees, which is kind of interesting. I wonder what his current blocking plan is, because he's clearly going to block Ceaseless Stalker at Ombridu, Sewer Pack trade with Sewer Pack.
He knows he's going to take 5, is the thing.
Yeah, no.
And then just loses.
Loses if he mills a single non-creature non-land card.
Those are not good odds when most of your deck is non-creature non-land cards.
No, most of the deck is creatures.
Oh yeah, never mind.
But still not good odds, and still puts himself in a situation where he can't recur the Ceaseless Stalker, because he doesn't have creatures, so he can't sacrifice any of them to the Recurring Abomination, which means the Ceaseless Stalkers are just stuck in the graveyard now.
Lord.
Maybe he's hoping to mill over a sewer pack, but this is the moment of truth, and I'm not feeling that hopeful.
Okay, let's see. Land. Okay.
She doesn't
Is
die, doesn't
doesn't
draw a card, now goes to draw a step, and that's
she?
the brick. Alright, you're dead.
Yeah.
That was
Hasn't
a
has
very
zero
fast
recursion.
2-0.
Aye. In that second game, Infinity